I've been waiting on my dad for a long time. Over an hour, and he's not here as yet. And we need to start this project. It's a nice day to edit a book. This the hour you gonna reach here, boy?
Boy, I have a sick lady on my hand, boy. I have to doctor her. And it really is, cause she wanted to come up. But I tell her, you know, there's no point you coming to go and sleep in somebody's bed when you're home already. And you have neck pains, you know. But she coming along nicely. So how you going? You okay?
Yeah, cool, man.
I like the post you put up yesterday, boy.
You like it?
Yeah, boy.
Man, really serious, you know, Daddy?
Yeah, he's serious, yeah, man.
Yeah, we don't focus on
Yeah, well, Lily, so let's get cracking, man. On the post.
You're running?
And you make me look good in that photograph, boy. I really don't look so good, eh?
Well, let me get started.
Yeah, man.
So we're editing this book using very simple tools. I have a laptop here using Microsoft Word, and we have a HDMI cable connected to this monitor with the font kind of big because this fella don't see so good. So we have two screens, we have a dictionary there if needs be. So are you concerned that in us sitting and editing this book that we will lose the essence of the sentences that you have written?
No, I'm not worried about that. I mean, when I reflect on the years at the Express as a sub-editor, there were stories that were passed to us, and as a sub-editor, you look for spelling errors, you look for sentence construction, and you look for the flavor that will meet the man in the street. But it is inevitable that a sub-editor will interject at times his own preference for saying something, but you try your best not to alter the character of the story. You don't steal the imagery that the writer, the original writer has come up with.
About 2 or 3 years ago, my dad finished a book. The name of that book is Ghost of Cool One. It's a short story based in Trinidad and Tobago back in the 40s and 50s. He's been asking me to edit this book, and quite frankly, he asked me to edit this book. I committed to it. He got a heart attack and I didn't edit the book. I don't know how I'd be able to live with that guilt. He recovered and I quickly forgot about the book.
I would believe that he's happy to start it, so even if we don't finish it, he could say he started it. I can't think of another publisher I would have given my word to, because I really don't know any other publishers anyway.
So let's jump into the story. Eusebio was tired, so tired he dreaded the thought of getting off his fiber mattress. But he needed that cup of coffee. He felt inseparable from the brew, especially since the morning was unusually cold, and he would make one for Marceline, who lay inside of his left arm, her moist lips barely touching his nipple. The sensation suddenly heightened by the rhythmical, gentle heaving of her light body. Eusebio rubbed sleep from his eyes. So much to do today, he thought. Where to begin? Yes, my coffee. Deftly he extracted himself from the limbs of Marceline and swung his feet to the earthen floor. It's established without saying it directly the time period that we may be operating in. There's the fiber mattress, there's a man lying down next to a woman, and there's a man with a need, and that need is coffee. Must have your morning coffee. So without saying things directly like he was a poor man, that's established in my mind through certain adjectives and certain assets that he has. It's weird about his wife. She's a kind of small-framed woman, and he has a dirt floor. So I ain't thinking about a rich guy living in Westmoreland. This fella from the country, like this fella. When you're editing a story, it's very easy to introduce errors because you're adding sentences, you're correcting sentences, and you may just hit comma instead of full stop. You may hit semicolon instead of colon. When highlighting a sentence, I'm highlighting the words at the end of a sentence and at the beginning of the new sentence. That way I could be sure to check that I haven't introduced errors between the sentences. Let's jump to the point where Marceline is telling Eusebio that she can't make children. They had the... Okay. They had the river sitting on their favorite stone. They had the river sitting on their favorite stone. They're by the river sitting on their favorite stone. And when she gives him the bad news, she says to him, "Now that you know, do you still feel the same about me? Will you still love me until our hair has grown grey?" Before he talks, there should be some element of doubt in his mind, because he's obviously a supportive husband. But we could communicate that doubt not necessarily through his words, but through his actions. So maybe we'll put in a sentence here. He scratched his belly.
I must confess, this comes as a great surprise because of that.
Take off that line.
No, this THAT. I must confess, this comes.
When you're editing your work, keep your writing as lean as possible.
That's right.
Take out words you don't need. I must confess that this comes as a great surprise. Would you miss the word that? Would the reader miss the word that? If they don't miss that, then take out that.
You don't need that.
He pulled her to her feet and kissed her on the forehead. He's a lover boy. One of the things I'll do here is I'll put his action on a new line. I am not one for long dialogue. This is a particularly long speech that he's given. It's probably called for because he's trying to instill some comfort in his wife. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this piece of dialogue because I want to be sure when I'm running through this again that, can I make this any crisper? Crisper is a word?
This comes as a great surprise. If you even take that up. This comes as a great surprise. I must confess. Right? Because that's what he's doing anyway. Or you feel that there's weight in it, I must confess.
I must confess. This comes as a great surprise. I think in this instance here, I must confess.
It's valid.
It would have been a wonderful privilege to father children.
Now, why I use that word father? Because that is how he was feeling. Not to have children, but to father children. Right?
But the Lord knows best. I suppose it would take time to adjust to this fate, but there is nothing too hard for the Lord. He would grant us the grace to move on. Come, let us fill our buckets from the ravine and go home. I love you just as much as when we first met.